Annabelle Comes Home. Mm. The movie starts out. It's Ed and Lorraine Warren, and the movie's not that bad at first. You actually kind of get hooked into it because you witness, um, a piece from another Conjuring or the first Annabelle movie. You see a piece of the nurses back in late 60s that had the doll and called the Warrens up and how they brought it home. And then fast forward, a couple years later in the 70s, I guess. I don't know, they have a little girl. Clairvoyant, apparently. Um, it hurts my head. They get to this point. They get fucked with on the way home with the doll. The car dies. Because the car won't keep running back then without electrical components going. Right. Ghost in the fuel pump. Alright. So they're stopped right in front of a cemetery. Mama Warren realizes Annabelle's a beacon for other spirits. Alright, I can with the other movies I kinda dug The Nun just because of how dark the movie was, where it took place, how they shot it. I mean, it was at least good scenes in it. I mean, it was ridiculous, just like any other. They're not. They're. I mean, come on, it's based on the Warrens from real life. You think them folks really battled a Raggedy Ann doll? No, no. This is Hollywood, and I get that. I get that. I'm not judging that, but the writers, anywho, they they get home. They say a prayer. They have a priest waiting in their driveway for them. Felt kind of bad for the guy. It looked like he had been standing there for a minute. And they lock this doll up. Boom. Fast forward. Daughter's, odd at school. No one understands her. There's a boy that bullies on her. Well, there's a babysitter. Alright. A babysitter and a babysitter's malevolent friend that's bummed out because her daddy bit the dust the past year or some shit. Alright. Well, now what we're dealing with is two teenage, almost grown girls and a pre-adolescent girl. Basically, one of them intentionally, since she sees the doll lean forward, it falls forward in the case like something bad, she figures out how to open the shit, and she messes with everything in their room. She finds a key to get in the room, finds a key for everything, she unlocks everything, messes with everything, sets it free, and there's a the movie did worse than every other movie, even though it had every demon plus slots for new demons like the ferryman to be added and be, done correctly. When you watch these horror movies, you want to look through your fingers. You want to be scared at the jump or that they're looking into this blacked out closet where they heard a noise. Like there's a jump, a scare factor. You want to almost like not. I didn't feel that with this. I felt like it's sort of like it was a really campy 1987 Ghostbustery sort of feel to it, especially once you arrive at the end and you don't see no, like at the end of The Nun, they made it seem like it was going to be all good. Well, Frenchie or whatever, the Frenchman from Canada, he turns out to be the guy from the exorcism video with the Warrens. So He ended up getting possessed or carrying some part of Valak. That's cool. I liked that continuation. They could do, you know, not the Nun 2, I wouldn't name it that, but something. They could come up with something. There's a million words for possession or whatever, I'm sure. Just, whatever. Now, we've got, anyways, the movie, it just hurts my head. The movie just shoots straight forward towards, did the writers, the director, the key grip, the screenplay folks, whatever, did they ever at once think that's not feasible for a person to decide that? I'm sorry, but literally every decision was stupid in this. The smartest decision is a dude they call Balls, or Bob's Got Balls, haha. He hits a werewolf with a guitar and it turns into smoke and reappears, reanimates after, and he runs off to save the little girl, the Warren girl. It's not as bad as it sounds considering all the other shit. But look, it really does give you the reach around, or it takes away the reach around when you're watching the movie. Not only does it rape you, but it uses no sort of lubricant in the process. I mean, it completely wallers everything out and ruins everything for you. This is one of those films that I usually watch films that most people trash, like Dark Phoenix. I get why that was trashed, but me personally, I liked the story they were going with. I just didn't like the generic shape-shifting villains. There were a couple things that were just a little whatever, most of the complaints that the mainstream negative reviews had, varying complaints from my personal opinion of that movie. Just an example. But this movie, I didn't really dig the very first Annabelle near as much as Creation or The Nun or any of the two Conjurings. But this Annabelle movie is garbage. 100% through. It's worse than a bad movie. It's a movie I've been questioning whether I should go forward with life after I viewed it, but I guess it doesn't have to be that crucial. The next Conjuring film is called The Devil Made Me Do It. On a stabbing. This guy stabbed his neighbor 40 times, and it was the first case in U.S. history where someone claimed possession was behind the actual murder, which, it really happened or whatever. Dude did stab the shit out of somebody, but I'm guessing he faced charges and they didn't really go for the whole possession spiel. I don't know if it's unethical for them to be making this movie to try to make it seem like maybe dude was really possessed. I don't know. I don't care really, but I'm interested to see the trailers at least. And I mean, if it's overly focused on the Warrens or the power of human clairvoyance instead of, Annabelle Comes Home did nothing to back up and exaggerate how evil the spirits they were dealing with were. Like, I wanted a little more backstory on the Japanese armor. Was it a samurai warlord in Edo, Japan that was running around murdering a bunch of folks that had stolen the armor from an honorable samurai, or a dishonorable one, which I don't know if there's such thing. They were very cruel people back then. Don't think they were just super honorable, nice people. Feudal Japan was one of the most cruel and barbaric times when it comes to war history. That's just that. It's true. But, leaning off topic, sorry. This movie blows donkey balls. basically. I give it. I hate to give it a 4 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 just because it's a Conjuring film, and just because James Wan might be loosely connected. He might have gotten a few phone calls during the creation of this slop from a trough. God, this movie's horrible. But yeah.